Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm in a new house. As I said last time, I moved. That's why I've been gone. I don't think a single one of you has been wondering where I'm at. Some old guild mates wondered where I was at. But I've moved. I'm still not kind of in the full swing of things, but I just wanted to say hi and get back into this. And, I wanted to start doing roster reviews, but I didn't want to do that in the middle of my move. But I did see someone asking for some advice on their roster in the direction that they should take it. They've kind of been on and off the past few years, and they're coming back to the game, and they need a little bit of direction. So that's what we're going to try to give to them today. I'm also going to give you an update where I am right now and kind of, let you know what the plans are and what I plan on doing and how GAC is going or how I think it's going to go. And yeah, I'm going to start with the roster review, and then I'm going to say hello, and I'm going to talk to you more about, what to expect now that I'm back. But without further ado, we are looking at Hist, who is guildless. And now Hist, I know you mentioned that you've been on and off and that you recently came back to the game. And I know this is more about the direction of your roster, but it is impossible to talk about the direction of your roster without talking about the fact that you're not in a guild. Get in a guild ASAP. I don't care if that guild is doing the newest raid or an older raid. I don't care. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get raid rewards ASAP two times a week. I mean, you basically get them about 2 times a week if your guild is active and whatnot. But I don't care what it takes. I don't care what the guild is. Join a guild. Make sure they're raiding. It doesn't even have to be the newest, shiniest raid. It doesn't even have to be the best guild in the world. Just do that. And I looked at your roster a little bit in advance to kind of start thinking about this. And you're at 4.3 million GP. Someone's going to let you in just because you're at 4.3 million GP, right? So get in a guild as soon as you possibly can. Now, without further ado, we're going to jump into the roster itself. Now, right off the bat, I would say I see a lot of characters. Maybe they're Gear 12. Oh, they updated missions model. That's interesting. Anyhow, whether they're Gear 12 or whether they're Gear whatever they are with these purples, I see a problem that I see with a lot of accounts that kind of struggle with direction. Don't give gear to anybody who doesn't have a very direct, immediate plan or use. Your Geonosians immediately stand out to me. I don't know if this is a result of, years ago. They were strong and annoying and nobody wanted to deal with them, and so maybe we gear them up. Stop it. And I already have a plan for your roster based on what I've seen. But my number one first tip would be stop doing this. Do not just give gear to characters who, oh, wow, look, I have that piece. I'm going to give it to them to make them stronger. The power really comes from getting them to relics and taking them up in relics. Yeah, Gear 12 plus pieces are good and they're helpful, but in this day and age, their primary use is getting you to Gear 13/relics, so that you can power up through relics. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. But again, I've looked at your roster. You do not have a Galactic Legend. You do not have a quote-unquote Galactic Legend ship, which is, they're technically not they haven't been called Galactic Legend ships by CG, but it's Executor, it's Profundity, it's Leviathan. They are the big ships with the strictest, hardest requirements that do the most work. They're the strongest ships in the game, right? So everyone calls them GL ships. For you, hands down, no questions asked. Let me look at your bounty hunters. Oh my God. Yeah. Go for Executor. You basically have to go for Executor right away. And in order for you to do that, where are Imperial Troopers? I'm not going to see them here because they're over here. You. Get Piet to 7 stars ASAP. You need to get Piet up. And oh, by the way, while we're here, we need to talk about this. Don't do what you did. You spent 6 million credits taking a 3-star Gear 1 character to level 85. This is a resource management game. You are going to get annihilated if you do not manage your resources efficiently. And this is a prime example. I don't know if one day you woke up and you thought you were going to use Piet. I don't know what the deal is here. Don't invest a drop of resources into a character that you are not planning on immediately using or using for some goal that's coming up. That being said, I no longer care that you wasted at some point credits on him to get him to 85 because you need him for Executor. Get Admiral Piet up to 7 stars ASAP. And oh, by the way, while you farm whatever else you need for Executor at this point, which isn't much, farm Dark Trooper, because you've already got Veers, you've already got Stark. If I was to look at this, I would say, maybe Death Trooper, maybe Magma Trooper, but whatever. You've got Veers, you've got Stark. Piet goes on the Imperial Trooper team. Dark Trooper goes on the Imperial Trooper team. As a matter of fact, he's the one who does all of the damage. Absolutely all of the damage. So, while you're getting Executor, you're going to get Piet. It's going to give you an excuse to kind of get your Imperial Troopers up and running. And so I would get Dark Trooper on your way to Executor so that he can make your Imperial Trooper team relatively strong. This is not the optimal lineup, but given what you have right now, and given that I don't want to distract you, I would say Death Trooper, Veers, Stark, Piet, and Dark Trooper should be your Imperial Trooper team, and Veers is the leader, if you weren't aware. Not Piet, Veers. Okay, now, Bounty Hunters. They're primarily the other ones that you're going to need to kind of get up for Executor, among other things. You need Darth Vader, you need Palpatine, but those are good characters too. Your Bounty Hunters are basically there. I think you might need IG-88 at Relics 2. Just check the requirements for Executor, but you're most of the way there. Cad Bane technically isn't a requirement, but his ship does go on the fleet. So yeah, I don't know what inspired you to farm Bounty Hunters, but I'm glad you did, because this is your gateway to Executor. And oh, by the way, you're also going to need Palpatine and Vader, which is great, because early on, they go on the same team. So you're going to want to put Vader under Palpatine. Do you have Mara Jade? Consider farming Mara Jade, but I wouldn't make it a priority, but she goes on the Empire team as well. But if you have Palpatine and Vader, you can do a decent amount of work, okay? So step 1, go for Executor. That will round out your Bounty Hunter team. That will round out your Imperial Trooper team, and it will get you close enough to a decent Empire team. Next, I'm going to look at your Rebels, because, again, this is something that I saw. No idea what inspired you to take C-3PO to Relics. He's totally a support character. He doesn't do damage. All that's going to do for him is give him a little bit more survivability. What's done is done, but I would focus on the rest of the CLS team at this point in time. You do need 3PO and Chewie, and I keep saying CLS. That's Commander Luke Skywalker. This guy. Everyone calls him CLS. So I know you've been away for a while, so I don't know if you'd pick up on that. 3PO and Chewie. You're probably using R2-D2 on your CLS team, and that's fine for now. He gets used somewhere else later. You'll need him later. Farm 3PO and Chewie. This character goes on the CLS team, and he is absolutely critical because of this unique. You don't have it here, but once you level this up, it shares Commander Luke Skywalker's stats, some of them, with the rest of the team, and it just makes them so much stronger. So get 3PO and Chewie, and get your CLS team up and running. The reason I say get your CLS team up and running is twofold. You have 4.3 million GP. At 4 million GP, you can do hard conquest, assuming you've beaten easy conquest and assuming you've beaten normal conquest. If you haven't, you need to focus on getting to hard conquest ASAP. CLS's team is a staple. They're one of the kings of conquest. They're very reactive. They do a ton of damage even if you don't get a turn. They basically carry you through conquest nodes for a decent portion of conquest. So CLS is just good, but he's also very good for conquest. He also leads into another team that I'm going to tell you to work on after you get your Executor. While we're here looking at Rebels, another faction that overlaps with Rebels is Phoenix. There's a Phoenix character that you're missing because he's new and he came out while you were away from the game. His name is Captain Rex. You must go get him immediately. This team is not good anymore unless you have Captain Rex on that team. Okay? They're also pretty good in Conquest. They're really good in lower levels of GAC, which is where you're at. And Captain Rex leads into another requirement that we're going to talk about in just a second. So, where are we so far? Get Executor. It's going to round out your Bounty Hunter team. It's going to round out your Imperial Trooper team. It's going to get you started on an Empire team. After that, finish CLS. After that, get your Phoenix, or while you're doing that, get your Phoenix to Gear 12. Gear 12 is going to be fine for you for right now. Get Captain Rex to 7 stars. At this point, you are now in a position to start working towards Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Master Luke. There's a lot of overlap with CLS and some of the Rebels. Go for Jedi Master Luke as your first GL. And the reason I say that is he is the king of Conquest. I don't know if I describe CLS that way. They're great. CLS is awesome in Conquest. But JML, Jedi Master Luke, the Galactic Legend, is just the king of Conquest. He basically has a permanent taunt. He can cheese a bunch of feats. We're not going to talk about that right now. But your roster needs resources. It needs to get caught up. It needs to get up and running. And so you need to get going with Conquest and a guild ASAP. JML, CLS, and Phoenix are going to really help you in Conquest. After that, I mentioned Captain Rex also leads into another requirement. After JML, go for Galactic Legend Leia Organa. There is a lot of overlap between JML and Galactic Legend Leia. Captain Rex, well, he's not an overlap with JML, but I'm telling you to get him for the Phoenix team, but you need him at Relic 7 for Galactic Legend Leia. So it's not a wasted investment. You're going to use him going forward. I'm not going to talk too much about Galactic Legend Leia because that's a ways away, right? Start with Executor. Do everything I told you, move into JML, and then move into Galactic Legend Leia Organa. That is more than enough. I'm not going to go further out than that because that's more than enough in terms of what you could be working on right now. Other than that, just looking at what you have, don't do anything else with this Sith Empire team. I see you have Revan, you have Malak, you have HK, you have Bastila, and you have Sith Marauder. Do not try to go for Leviathan. You cannot do it. You need Malgus. You need a bunch of other expensive characters that you don't even have access to right now. Don't do it. Don't go for Leviathan. You've already, quite honestly, I'll just be blunt, you have overinvested in Sith Empire. You need other things right now. You need to focus on other things right now. Other teams, other Galactic Legends. Do not give any more relics to Sith Empire. Do not push them any further. They're very good. Don't take them further. The only other thing, I was glancing at your roster earlier, if you don't already know how mod sets work, go look up a mods 101 video on YouTube. You have 3 speed mods, and that is not a full set. Actually, you have no functioning set bonus on Darth Revan right now. You need 4 speed mods to make a set, and you need 2 of these, 2 of these, or 2 of these to make a set for tenacity, defense, or crit chance. You have no mod set bonuses right now. You need to get rid of this mod yesterday. It's only got 9 speed. Switch this one out for speed. That will give you the speed set bonus. Where is it? That would give you an additional 10% speed on Darth Revan, which would get your Darth Revan to actually about 330-ish speed. 320, 330, which would be really fast and really good. That'd be really good for your Darth Revan. But start learning how mods work and start thinking about mods as you're spending your resources as well. But we're not going to go too deep into that because, you could do a whole video on mods. So what are the takeaways here? Executor, the related teams, CLS, Phoenix, JML, Leia. Stop spending resources on characters that you're not going to take all the way or that don't lead into any of these objectives. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. This path that I just set you on, do not give a single piece of gear, do not give ability materials, do not do a single thing to a single character that does not directly contribute to getting those things that I just said in the order that I just said. Go get Executor ASAP. That's the first thing you need to do. Other than that, welcome back to the game. It's a marathon, not a sprint, okay? But because of that, you need to make well-informed, good decisions when it comes to your resource management, because the fact that this game is a marathon, not a sprint, means that not only can you not make a ton of progress very quickly, but you end up digging this hole over time. And the longer you spend doing things inefficiently, the deeper you are digging yourself into this hole that is going to become difficult to get out of. You've got a lot of resources that have been spent here that if I could just take them back and put them on the characters that need them to get you to Executor, you could have like 5 more characters relicked right now. So think of this game from that perspective. It's gonna be painful. It's always painful, getting those disgusting, horrible characters to relics for like Galactic Legends and for Galactic Legend ships. But I promise you, it's worth it. It pays off. And so I hope you got what you needed from this roster review. As for everybody else, welcome back. Looking at, yes, we are in full whale mode. We have 82.8 thousand crystals. I'm currently trying to decide if I want to lean into Galactic Legend Ahsoka. Since you may have last seen my roster, I've only picked up 2 new teams because it's been really stressful moving. Except those 2 new teams are I got JMK and I got Jabba. So I only got 2 teams, but they were 2 Galactic Legends, which is a really big deal. Jabba, I got him in time for a Smuggler's Run 2 that had like 12 hours left on it. So that was a very conscious decision. Jabba is huge for mods and mod resource management, and it had to happen. It had to happen. And he's just a great defensive GL as well. General Kenobi, he's general, or not general. Blech, I hate General Kenobi. Jedi Master Kenobi, he's amazing. He's great on defense. He's great on offense. He's just great. Not an amazing first GL, but he can be a pain, especially with the datacrons that are out right now. But I'm not going to talk too much more about that because you guys already know plenty about that. Other than that, we can just kind of expect what you've expected in the past. If you want a roster review, leave a comment. I'm not like formally advertising that yet, but I would consider kind of sprinkling that in with the rest of my content. I continue to kind of bounce around. Do I need to do a Fleet Arena battle? Yeah, let's do a Fleet Arena battle while we're here. Let me see if my arch nemesis is waiting to bump me. Where is he? No, he can't. So yeah, let's do this real quick. Let me set up. And I don't go for number 1 anymore because I'm not in the mood for the Leviathan Mirror. So unless someone else takes him, I just don't even bother with the other Leviathan in my shard anymore. So yeah, GAC, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to talk through, my strategy and whatnot, and hopefully you guys get something out of that. If that brings you value, if that doesn't bring you value, let me know. I started this channel and I wanted to kind of over-explain everything so that people who are new to the game could kind of watch what I was doing and figure out and think about what they may need to do to replicate, my success or avoid my failures. But yeah, it's been, you know what? I'm just going to hold on one sec. All right, we're back. I hate this new matchup. I hate punishing one. It always gives me something to think about. Yeah, so I tend to over-explain in GAC. Anybody who's familiar with the channel knows what I'm talking about there. But I over-explain for a reason, and that is because I want people to be able to understand what I'm doing, and especially I want new players to be able to kind of pick up on what I'm thinking about. In terms of my GAC strategy, it's exactly what it was before, except it's stronger. So, for example, I'm coming up against this guy, and quite honestly, I'm pretty confident because of what he's done in the past. But he's 12 million. I'm not too concerned about that, though, based on what I've seen and what he typically sets on defense. He's got every GL in the game. He's got every GL ship in the game. But we're going to do what we always do, which is we're going to make top as painful as possible. This is 5v5, of course. I'm almost entirely confident he can't get through this wall. just based on his mods, based on his datacrons, based on his resources. I don't think he can do it, which means I don't have to worry about the fact that I set garbage ships back here. I'm taking all my GL ships on offense, but I did actually also, I only need 4 ground squads to get through his top wall, and I kind of have them planned out. So I was able to actually put some of my strongest crons and my strongest teams on my bottom front wall. And quite honestly, he might get tripped up enough on this. I want him to get tripped up on this, even though this is not what I would call an easy wall right now. It's definitely easier than top. So I would like him to come here, and I would like him to get thrown off by these datacrons. I've got Rogue One with Rogue One. I've got Starkiller with Starkiller. I've got Dengar with Dengar. Don't worry about this. There's not really a great Ray Kron right now, but this one has boatloads of defense and like 45% crit avoidance. So yeah, kind of the same strategy as before. 5v5, top is worth more, so we're going to be aiming to go top while they get stuck up front and they have to go bottom. And right now, just like we used to plan, here's the spreadsheet. This is where I do all of my planning. This is what he typically sets. I plan on taking out his Leia with JML and Plo. I plan on taking out his Gungans with Traya, his Jabba with Slicker, his Trench with Phoenix, and I've got a bunch of contingencies. I've got Bane and Malgus on standby in case, you know, something like Trench fails or Gungans fail. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, he doesn't set any GL ships on defense, which means I can just take my GL ships on offense and not really think about what's going on here. Haha, Executor versus Radis. If you know, you know. But yeah, without further ado, that's the end of this video for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope, gosh, who are we looking at? I'm sorry, I want to say it one more time. I want to say, you know, thank you for letting me review your roster. Hist, H-I-S-T. Welcome back to the game. I hope you enjoy it. It's really fun, but you just gotta take it slow, take it easy. Don't let it stress you out too much, and you'll find yourself enjoying it more. All right, guys, I will see you all next time.